Hola, hola todos. How's everyone doing? I am really kind of excited right now because we have our 28-day family language challenge that is starting tomorrow. So, tomorrow, July the 1st. So, starting at the beginning, the 28-day family language challenge. What is this all about? It is about beginning and maintaining one routine this month in your target language, whatever that language happens to be. So, as you know, Adelante Spanish for All, I teach Spanish. Spanish is in our home. It is a heritage language for my kids. So that's actually not the language we're going to be focusing on in our particular challenge. What we're going to be focusing on for the next 28 days will be Mandarin Chinese. Ah, okay. Hey, Donna. Hello, Yuki. My daughter's on here. That's my oldest bilingual baby. She's on here right now. She might throw in a couple of words. I think I am going to tag a few people. It's going to take me a moment because I don't know what I'm doing. I never do. Okay, let's see. So, guys, tag anybody that you think would be interested. Share anyone you think would be interested in following along in our family language learning challenge for the next 28 days. For the next 28 days, 2 or 3 times a week, I'm going to be getting on. I am going to be using my book, actually, and I'm going to be talking about our own journey, and I invite others. Okay, great, Donna. Good. And you know how to contact me, so if you have any questions, you can just ask. Anyone on this page can ask any questions, and there's several of us here that will be happy to help in your language learning journey. In fact, it's not just Spanish on this page. I've seen Japanese on this page. I've come across German, Russian. Let me think. I can't remember all the languages, but there's a lot of different people that are trying to maintain if they have a heritage language that they're trying to maintain, or it's a brand new language for their family and they really want to become more consistent with it. So today, I would like to figure out what are we going to be starting with. Now, in the book, we had the pre-planning page. I've been talking about it the last two lives. Um, we have been talking about this. So, what are you going to be doing tomorrow? Tomorrow. So, I did mention that we in our household we do Mandarin Morning. We did kind of get away from it, which is why I got the book in the first place, because I needed something to keep us accountable and keep us constant and working on it all the time to keep Mandarin in our home. Hey, Sean, how's it going? The homeschool guru is in the house today. This is the woman to go to for all your homeschool questions. So, Sean, what language are you going to be working on for the challenge? What are you going to be working on? I'm curious because I know you've done Spanish, but you mentioned that your kids were interested in another language. So, which one are you going to be doing? Much love. So I'll give her time. She'll type in her comment. Let's see. Oh, you're going to do ASL. We've actually done some ASL. I used to use ASL in my pre-K classrooms when I was a public school teacher. I used it as a bridge because I had several different languages in my classroom sometimes. So besides teaching the kids each other's languages, I also used some ASL as a bridge. I don't know vast amounts of ASL, and I certainly don't know all the grammar. So but the gestures or movements I did were actual ASL. I didn't make up my own gestures. So ASL is a great one. Um, I know your kids are older, but I remember doing ASL when my youngest child, since she was born. And by the time she was one, she had 20 different signs. So she was able to communicate. It didn't stop her from crying because she was just a crier. But she did have about 20 signs. It was really, really awesome. So these are some of the things I was thinking about as I was thinking about my day tomorrow. So we're starting back. We've been doing it off and on, before the challenge, of course. So for Mandarin, we are doing Mandarin Morning. We start at 8:30. We're usually eating breakfast by then. We're usually maybe watching a show. While we're watching the Chinese show, which right now we've already watched it one time through with subtitles. This next time through, we're not watching it with subtitles. We're picking out words that we know and some and some of the words and phrases that we're starting to recognize, trying to start incorporating those. So that's the main part of our routine, asking. I want to go look in my own book. So our dialogue, I'm pulling it from the mealtime routines, from the appendix, the mealtime routines. So we're going to be talking about, foods. What would you like to eat? I would like this. Yes, thank you. No, thank you. We really need to get into the pleasantries, being polite as we're asking for things. So some things that I do need to know, this is in my pre-planning, some things that we do need to know is what time is breakfast. Um, Go wash your hands is a big one. I would like to know how to say that. Please pass, certain foods. And, oh, we know how to say that the food is good. We can incorporate that. Now that I'm just looking at the dialogues, and it's kind of reminding me of the things that we do know. So as you go through these dialogues, if you have the book, go through the dialogues, figure out what you do know, and what you don't know, what you do need to learn. If you don't have the book, or even if you do, but you're not using the mealtime, you're going to sit down, figure out what routine it is, and what are some of the things that you say during that routine. Hey, Latasha, it's good to see you. Think of the things that you say normally during your routine, and then think of how you can say that in your target language. If there's just some words you just don't know and you only know a word or, here or there, it's okay. For example, if it's Spanish, you're going to be doing Spanglish. Okay. You might be saying some words in English and some words in the target language. We're just trying to get started and use the language that you do know. The more you continue to study and learn, the more you'll be able to integrate into the routine. So this particular challenge is actually coming up at a really good time for me, because one of the resources I use for my language learning is Yo-Yo Chinese, and she is also doing a 30-day challenge. And her challenge is to be consistent, getting on the website and studying every single day, even if it's just for 10 minutes, getting on there every single day. So I'm going to be able to boost my time listening to the language. Remember, I mentioned last week that a minimum of at least 10 hours a week is essential for integrating those sounds of the language into the brain. So at least 10 hours of exposure every single week. So that's going to be part of my exposure, because she's speaking a lot of Chinese besides the shows that we watch. That's also going to help with my vocabulary, so I can help integrate. Another thing that we're doing apart from the routine, my daughter, she takes LingoBus Chinese classes. They're one-on-one online classes with a native speaker. We're going to go back and look at some of the older videos, especially the ones that have to do with food and pleasantries, like come sit down, how much of this would you like? There's a lot of things in those old videos, and there's an overview so I know which videos to pull and get those phrases that we may have forgotten that she's already learned. So we'll be able to go back and do that. And then integrate that into our routine. So it's not just Oh, awesome, Latasha. So your child started on their own. Very, very good. Very good. My oldest, I had introduced Japanese a long time ago to her, and my oldest, she actually started back studying Japanese on her own. So, Yuki, if you're still on the live, you can yell and say hi. Let us know. Are you still studying Japanese? And if not, maybe you want to get back into that. Okay, get back into it and just study and use it in a routine every single day. Say what you need to say in Japanese. So that is perfect, Latasha. So, so the more that you're doing your routine every single day, there's more things that you're going to realize. Oh, I need to figure out how to say this. You're going to be studying on your own. Apart from that, your kids are going to be studying the language and learning sentence structures and more vocabulary that can also be integrated into that routine. So it's all going to come together. Everything that you're learning, you're just going to be focusing that learning into that one routine. So, having said that, if you want a book, if you haven't got it yet, it is on Amazon. If you have Amazon Prime, you can probably have it by Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on when you order. I actually have copies here. I have copies and I can send these directly to you. I have a PayPal me link in the description of this live, and I will send it directly to you and maybe a couple of free goodies along with that. If you don't have the book, download your pre-planning worksheet for free. The link is in the description. I have a lot of resources. We're going to be doing this for the next 28 days. We're going to be doing it for the next 28 days. We're going to be doing this together. Like I said, 2 or 3 times a week. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to be on here and we're going to talk about our journey. And I want to be here in the evening. Why? Because I want to talk about what did y'all do that day? How did it go? And I will let you know how it went for me too. Because like I know I mentioned it last week, sometimes we just don't feel like it, or sometimes we just tired and we don't, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to make this happen. I believe in all of you, just like I believe in me. Kinda. I believe in y'all more. You guys are going to be keeping me accountable. So that's why I'm doing it. I'm doing it to keep myself accountable, and I'm going to practice what I preach, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So, what are some things that you have done to pre-plan? Whether or not you have the book and done the pre-planning worksheet, that's a free download. What are some things that you have already planned? You can, yes, thank you, Sean. You can use the Amazon link, or you can also use the PayPal me link that is in the description. I have copies here at my house. I can send it directly to you with a couple other goodies. If you let me know you're studying Spanish, I have a couple of free things I'll throw in there for you as well. So, what are some things that you guys are doing to start off tomorrow? What is your routine? What is your language? And what are some things that you already know that you can use? What is your routine? Let me see. I want to see if I can. Yes, I can share this. It takes me a while to figure out how to share some things, guys. It doesn't always pop up for me. Okay. So it's going to take me a moment. I'll get back to your comments in a minute. No, 28-day family language challenge starts tomorrow. Okay. Let's see. So what are your routines? What routine are you doing, Sean? What routine are you doing? And Latasha, I know you said that your child's um doing it on her own. What language is she doing? And are you gonna join in with her and try to um help make it consistent for her by talking to her? Mm-hmm. Thank you, Sean. Okay. Yuki, are you going to be doing the challenge? Are you going to speak Japanese? I know none of your roommates speak Japanese, so that's going to be a challenge in itself. How are you going to work that out? I don't know if Yuki's still on here, but that is a challenge in and of itself. That was one of the things that I talked about last week was your support system. For us, my husband, since he's a Spanish speaker, um, and he knows English. He can speak some English. So for him, asking him to be a part of the language challenge as far as Chinese is a bit of a stretch. He's not against it. He's kind of indifferent. He's like, yeah, okay, that's your thing, which he says about a lot of my stuff. Yeah, that's your thing, and he just lets me go with it. Um, so he's kind of a silent support. He's not against. He's not like gung ho. Yeah, Yeah, I'm going to do this with you. So think about your support systems as well. And a little bit later, I think I'll repost chocolate sushi rolls. She has a nice YouTube about getting people that support you, getting those people around you. I posted it about a week or so ago. Let me see if I can find it on my page. So I'll just tell them often, oh, Yuki, come on. You can do better than that. They say that usually when you're learning a language, some of the first words you learn are all the bad words. Okay. So for some people. So that's what I hear. I won't say if it's true or not. But something maybe a mealtime. What is Yuki? What is it like with your roommates? You think they will be supportive of it, or are they going to kind of laugh and say, "Hey, stop talking to me like that"? How do you think they're going to react with that if you're speaking Japanese to them? I'm curious. I'm kind of curious about that. That's right. They're they have very polite language, has no curse words. Okay, they just so how does that work? Okay, so you're going to be doing your Japanese vocabulary. Okay. I think I still have some of your Japanese books here. You can come by and pick them up. So, well, that's good. Sean, what routine are you going to be doing? Oh, great. So one of your roommates is definitely supportive. Awesome. It's always good. It's always nice when you have someone right there with you that is definitely supportive. Very good. Hey, Justin, how's it going? All right. Okay. So I had one more thing I wanted to share with you guys. As y'all are doing comments, I did want to get on earlier this week in order to do this live. I just wasn't able to, but I will be on again tomorrow, and we're going to talk about our very first day and how it went. What did you do? How'd you share? Great, that's good. It's always nice when you have someone to practice with. That's why I made it a family language learning challenge. So it's not just one child or one adult trying to figure this out on their own, but you have a partner. You have a built-in partner right there. That's one of the reasons why I teach family time Spanish, because it's just so much more fun when you're learning as a family and you're able to talk to each other and try things out. Um, and as you're learning vocabulary, there's a whole lot of different ways to figure out vocabulary. Some people try to memorize different things. You're going to work on morning, two kids in the Spanish and two in the Japanese. Okay. Good morning. How'd you sleep? Let's get our day started. Oh, okay. What would you like for breakfast? Very good. Very good. Oh, good morning. You know what? That's right, Sean. I didn't even mention good morning. I can add that to our morning routine too. I think that was Jiao Shang, something like that. Very good. So, Latasha, can you do two languages? You can do two languages. Um, since your kids have already started doing language, um, the way I usually suggest is to start with one at a time. However, since your kids have already started, you're going to choose two separate routines. Now, in my book, I want to show you something really quick. In my book, I show one routine, but that one routine has different parts to it. So, for example, I have a mealtime routine, but there's four different parts to mealtime routine. You will just choose one of these parts for like Spanish, for example. This is mealtime. You would choose one for Spanish. You're going to choose a completely different routine that has nothing to do with mealtime for your Japanese. And that helps keep it separate. Okay, that's how I suggest doing that. We don't want to mix the two. I mean, unless you're learning both languages and you want to talk. But I would really suggest having two completely separate routines. And sometimes the routine you choose is just based on what you already know. So think about what your kids already know, what you already know, and how that can be incorporated into a routine. Okay. What would you like for breakfast? Yes. Yes, Sean. I've lost a lot of my ASL, so I don't even know how to say most of this stuff in ASL anymore. But I can say it in Spanish and I can say it in Chinese. Yay! hmm You're welcome, Latasha. Not a problem. What routines do you think you would use, Latasha, for the two languages? hmm So while she's answering that, I wanted to share something. It is going to be fun. I think it's fun. You know what? Let me say this. We start off really gung ho, and sometimes the pressures of life gets to us. Oh, and we think, oh my goodness. Oh, okay, you caught me on a fluke. Great. Um, and sometimes we get a little bit down, but you know what? This is a fun time. We can do this. We can do this, and we can make it fun for our kids. Um, One way I considered as far as learning vocabulary, besides just when we're using the vocabulary, and I did not do a demonstration for you guys the way I wanted to, but when you're speaking, for example, if it's mealtime, you're going to have the things in front of you that you're talking about. So if I wanted to say, do you want some water? I'm going to have the water and handing it to them so if they don't know all of the words in the language, they still understand what you're saying. Let's get 4 plates. You're going to have plates in your hand, and you can say, necesitamos 4 platos. They have an understanding of what you're talking about. So we're not just talking. We're going to have our props, the things that we are talking about are in front of you, just like when they were learning their first language, and you said, "Oh, look, honey, you want to read a book?" And you held up a book, and they learned eventually that this is book, and what we do with the book is we read it, so they understood the vocabulary. Okay, so they're going to be learning by doing. That's the purpose of doing it in a routine. It is very sentence structure of ASL is very different. It is. Okay. And okay. So the Japanese can be the end of the day routine. The Spanish will be in the beginning, and Japanese can be the end. That's actually a good way of doing it, because some things may actually overlap. Some things you say or it will be the just like almost a direct opposite. And so that might be a good way. They might start catching on to similar uh, like say sentences. I can't think of what I want to say. Like sayings or expressions in both languages if you're bookending it like that, since there's some things that are similar to each other. Okay. So let me just show you, since I'm sitting here with two of y'all today, I created a notebook to help do vocabulary. Some people, they just want to do things like Duolingo, but that's very random. Doing flashcards, that can get a little bit tedious and can get a little bit boring. So I created a drawing translation notebook. I have two different styles. The inside is exactly alike. And what this is you are drawing the vocabulary that you are learning. This can be for you, it can be for your children, it can be simple sentences, it can be complex, and this can probably help in your challenge as well. If there's a sentence or there's certain words that your children aren't getting, for example, let's say you said plato in Spanish, you would draw, or you would show them plato, show it to them. They'll draw plato and then they'll write plato on the line. Okay, so if you said a sentence such as, por favor, ponen cuatro platos en la mesa, they would put, cuatro, the number cuatro, with the word cuatro. They can draw a mesa, which is table, and write mesa. They're not going to write anything in English in this book. And then they'll take that sentence, they'll take the words that they illustrated and make one complete picture that will illustrate what that sentence was. Like I said, it can be as simple or complex. It can be as simple as using it for your routines. It can be as complex as you're studying something like insects, or let's say you're reading a book because you're a little bit more advanced. You come across sentences, some complex sentences, you're illustrating these things. This helps you think in the language as well. And how do you come up with pictures without the English translation? All of y'all are on the internet right now. Go to Google Images, put in your target word. Target word is in your target language, not in English. And a bunch of pictures in that target language are going to pop up. That's what you're going to be drawing in your notebook. So I have these available. These are on Lulu. I also have some limited copies in my house, but that is a good way to help enforce the vocabulary and the things that you're saying, and it's in a very natural way. You're not using translation in order to figure out, well, what is plato? Oh, this means plate. Or trying to go backwards. What was this? What was plate again in Spanish? Plate. Oh yeah, it's plato. Okay, we're not using English as the middleman. Okay, so this is a good book to help enforce that. So guys, like I said, I'm really excited. We start tomorrow. I will be here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to talk about your day. How did your first day go? And I'm really excited about it. Get your free downloading pre-planning worksheet. Work out what you're going to be doing tomorrow. What words can you say tomorrow? I don't care if half your sentence is in English and the other half is in your target language. We are starting tomorrow. We're going to talk about it at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. You remember plato. Good. And that's also a cognate, Sean. It's a cognate. It's very similar in both English and in Spanish. Okay, that's a cognate. Very good. So we'll talk about it tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow. Wake up in a great mood and excited to get started. Okay, guys, I'll see you later. Ta-ta.